Just like with writing and literature, most of us have seen or at least heard of comics, be it in magazines, newspapers, books, websites, or even Pop-Tart boxes. Obviously, comics can be a pretty popular form of medium, with tons of free range. So they're great for illustrators or anyone that has a great story and loves pictures. A comic could literally be about anything and everything, from a serious and realistic story about someone battling schizophrenia to a happy-go-lucky short telling meme jokes. A comic doesn't even need to have words. But in general, most comics are made from some sort of sequence of images and or pieces of text that convey a message of some kind. However, of course, that doesn't necessarily mean that all comics are some wild flurry of words and drawings. Oh, hell no. Well, they could be, but for the most part, professional comic creators pay close attention to the artistic fundamental of composition, which is pretty much the placement of elements on the viewing plane. In this case, a comic page. So things like, where does this panel go? How big should it be? What about these word bubbles? May or may not have word bubbles, by the way. Helps make it easier to read, though. It's all about making sure the comic panels, the boxes that hold the images of what's happening, flow in a way that's both easily understandable and appealing to the eye. If your viewers can't understand what's happening and when, then they won't be able to understand your super awesome story. So many comic makers go through several drafts of each page, changing and altering the layout and other elements until it's fine-tuned enough to just be glorious. While the artwork itself can be just as wild and varied as the genre, hey, as long as the story's good, typically one common decision for comic art is whether it'll be in color or black and white. Color gives work much vibrance when done well, since it's color, but can take a while to add, especially when you take into account time already put into writing, drafts, and drawing. So sometimes it's better to go for black and white, like with most manga, Japanese comics, when creators have to pump out pages like fire hydrants.
The weekly manga industry is a murder machine that eats artists and shits out manga.
Or maybe the creator's going for a specific effect, like the worn photo feel of Lackadaisy. You could also go for a sort of fusion of the two, with some color and some monotone. There's also the option of switching between color and black and white for specific moments in the comic that convey certain emotions, like switching to monotone in times of great sadness, or having a brief moment of color during a surreal dream sequence. Some comics, or at least some manga, have 1 or 2 pages of full color at the beginning, with the rest of the comic being black and white. Whatever visual preferences you decide on, there's still also the decision of just how you're going to get it to the adoring public. Like with literature, comics have the option of either being distributed physically in print or online through the internet. Print is a lot more costly and difficult, since you'd have to find some way to make the actual comic and give it to lots of people, without breaking the bank on printing the comic and distributing it to stores for people to actually find and buy it. Or just have lots of money already because you're Nick Simmons. That's why actual comic books and graphic novels, comic books that are in literal books, are best done by professional companies and seen as a major goal by comic creators who normally post online. As much of an extra lead physically printing comics can be, there's just something so charming about the feeling of a real-life comic page. Oh, yeah. of people nowadays use the grand vastness that is the internet to release and distribute their comics. Comics released this way being appropriately called webcomics. You don't get the lovely pages, but doing so is much more convenient and far less costly, since you could literally just make the page and upload it to a free media sharing site like DeviantArt. There's also sites like Tapas, SmackJeeves, The Duck, Webtoon, and several other places, where you can upload and publish your work among millions of other creators and comic fans alike. You could even give your comic its own site if you want, and since webcomics are, well, on the web, you can also add in neat little features available to that format, like putting GIFs into your comics.
But wait! There's more!
You know where to put your comics, but you've still got another big decision to make. How are you going to make them? Digital or traditional? Or something else that isn't drawn, like with photos. While it cannot magically give you artistic superpowers, making your comic digitally gives you a little more convenience with creation, thanks to limitless layers and the undo-redo button. It also lets you skip the step of scanning your pages before you upload them. Plus, it's cheaper in terms of supply usage.
If you're going to make it big, there are some of these tools that you should have in your arsenal. Varying different types of colored pencils, graphite pencils, markers, pastels, charcoal, inking pens, light boxes, dojini paper, manuscript paper, erasers, rulers, templates, compasses, a cutting board, a cutting knife, paper cement, whiteout, airbrushes, a drawing tablet, and finally an illustration and graphic software.
Since a lot of great digital painting software are completely free. Aside from the tablet you'd need to get, cheapest ones are about $20 and they're tiny. But the average ones aren't much more expensive. Might hurt your eyes if you don't take breaks though. While a tad less convenient, making your comics traditionally has the engaging quality of being able to make and feel the art with your own two mortal hands. You could really use any visual art medium you want. Watercolor, colored pencil, watercolor pencil, markers, collage I guess, paper cutout, it's all up to you, though it might get a bit expensive. And you'll need a good scanner or a good camera if you want to get a nice image of your comic on a computer. Of course, you don't have to just make the comic with traditional or digital. Your process of creation could be anything you want or feel comfortable with. Some artists sketch or ink the page first in traditional, then ink and or color in digital. Hey, as long as it works. But no matter how you make your precious piece of art, this is your comic. There exist even more ways to ump it up to the next level. Enter comic dubs. Basically, comic dubs are where panels of the comic are shown as image stills in video format, with voice acting and or sound effects and music, applied to the scenes and characters of the story.
Delivery! It's lucky number 7. Just one left, Your Majesty.
Oh.
Pretty much like an animatic. Comic dubs can be organized and made by the creator or some really dedicated fans. However, comic dubs don't have movement in them. Because then they're called motion comics, which showcases the comic with minimal to complex movement by editing the original comic in software like Adobe After Effects or HitFilm.
Not had enough time with it to really give it a review one way or the other. I will say that I've been a HitFilm user for a while. All of the stuff, the animated stuff I did in Sorcerer's Lost was all done in HitFilm 2 Express.
And sometimes adding extra effects to give it that extra jazz. In the end, comics are a great medium to make art and tell stories, loved the world over by millions of people, and able to embody anything a creator really wants to show to the viewing public. So, if you like comics and are thinking about making them yourself, hey, the world's your oyster, buddy. Go make something great.